Hello, and welcome to the final match of the 2019 Dominion Online Championship Tournament between RTT and Freaky. I am Aku Chi, and I'm joined in commentary by Mick Senok.
Hey.
Yeah, so there are 211 entrants into the tournament this year. It's the biggest annual tournament in the online Dominion scene. And RTT, the number 1 seed, and Freaky, the number 2 seed, were the players who fought their way to the final match.
Yeah. So this is certainly the first time in these tournaments that we've had the number 1 and 2 seed face off. I don't remember what the seeds of every previous winner was. I think I was number 3 when I won, and Dan was
Dan
2. I think he was number 2
seed?
because I think I was number 1 the first year. I think I had.
And I think his opponent Mercury 444F was the 4 seed.
Mm-hmm. Right. So we got the 3-4 instead of the 1-2.
The 2-4, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, 2-4. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it seems to be, despite the fact that there are always lots of upsets by the end, the finals are between 2 very good players.
Yeah, always. And no exception this time. RTT has been a regular now in the A division of the Dominion League. He's won a lot of those championships. Also high on the leaderboard. And Freaky has made a really meteoric rise on the leaderboards over the past year and a half or so. And he's has a dominant position now at the top of the ranked leaderboards.
Yep. Yeah, he's right now a good couple levels above the next person or so. Level and a half, something like that. I didn't look at it, but...
Yeah. And yeah, it's been very consistent. He plays a lot of games on it, so definitely no fluke. Both players are...
a lot of games is a bit of an understatement. If we found all the alts, it's like... yeah.
Oh,
we should give as
insane.
We should maybe give as a caveat that at least one of these players thinks much faster than I do. And so between looking at chat and the play and talking, we may miss a few things. You'll just have to forgive us.
Yep, it's going to be tough to follow. These guys are fast players, so we'll try to keep up best we can. It is going to be best to 4 or best to 3.5 wins format. Alternating starts. First game will be random start. And then in the 7th game, if there happens to be a 3.5 to 3.5 tie, then it'll be whoever second player wins.
Yep.
And I think both of the semifinal matches went to Game 7, right?
I didn't watch them, so unless I commentated one of them. Now I can't even... No, I didn't. I didn't commentate either of the semifinals. Those before.
Yeah, I think neither did I.
Yeah, I that sounds... I know RTT and Osbon did. I don't remember about Freaky and...
Yeah, I could be wrong about the Freaky match.
Yeah, I commentated one Freaky match, but I don't remember now which round it was.
Oh, it looks like Freaky won 3.5 to 0.5 against Mercury 444F. But anyways, the first board is up, and got see Shepherd and Haunted Woods as the draw.
Yep.
Wandering Minstrel and Festival as the plus actions.
Royal Blacksmith potentially for draw.
Yep.
There is trashing, so...
Yeah, Trashing and Treasure and Monastery. Freaky opens Monastery. He has
He'll get to open
5
with the Treasure, I assume.
Yeah,
on
that
his
looks
5.
like a pretty strong opening.
4-3 is considerably worse here, I would say.
I think so.
Workshop is okay, as Steph is saying. So that's probably either a Minstrel or a Shepherd paired with that if you wanted to go for the Workshop.
Yeah, workshop, you then would want to pair that with, I guess, monastery trashing primarily, but not necessarily in the opening. But it looks like RTT does open with monastery.
We got our first undo. Oh, he spent his 4 on it. So he's wanting the monastery shepherd opening, rather than the monastery whatever. Yeah. Anyone who's watching on Twitch, I am trying to keep an eye on Twitch chat as well, though I can't promise a high level of interaction there. So RTT, yeah, that's just, I was thinking that was the second monastery, but of course that's
Right,
just
yeah.
his other one.
So nice draw for RTT. He manages to reach 5 despite not opening with any economy generating cards.
Yeah, it was quite fortunate.
Freaky picks up a workshop on turn 3.
This will, I assume, be a shepherd or a minstrel.
Yeah, it's definitely a question of how many of those estates you want to trash. Looks like Freaky's going to choose to trash copper over estate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely, I had my last game of the match I played this morning with shepherd, and I was saying I just don't know how to balance, especially when there's other draw, whether the shepherd is worth it or not.
Mm-hmm.
I still haven't figured that out.
Haunted Woods, I think any duration draw goes really nicely with shepherd.
Yeah.
Because you have that bigger starting hand size to pair shepherd and green together, and then shepherd is great once you make that initial like connection with 3 or more, like two to 3 green cards.
Yeah.
So it looks like both players picking up Haunted Woods.
The other nice synergy here between shepherd is Night Watchman, which in general can be really, really nice with shepherds.
Yeah, because you can like try to control how many cards you discard with like your last shepherd to have some green left over.
Yeah.
And if you buy a shepherd, then you can set up a nice hand. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but Sam has pointed out, of course, you can't actually do the Night Watchman thing if you're under attack. So.
Oh yeah, that's relevant for monastery as well. These monasteries are going to start becoming unplayable.
Yeah.
Immediately for RTT. Yeah. That's something I forget.
Yeah, the Haunted Woods thing is interesting because you're going to be top decking green cards with it, which might help you, but you do have to draw into that first shepherd. I guess in general, if you have extra shepherds, you just leave one on top of your hand with 4 green cards. So, in general, the Haunted Woods attack probably allows you to be fairly consistent with your shepherds. Yeah. But Freaky is pretty considerably ahead of here right now.
Absolutely. He's had a couple nice turns, and RTT has some collision right now.
Yeah.
Freaky picking up market for some plus buy. Payload here is not amazing, I guess.
No. Yeah, you can just do some mix of like gold and treasure, essentially, with then the buys coming from.
So RTT chooses not to play the Haunted Woods, but he buys the Haunted Woods so then he can top deck that Haunted Woods. Yeah, that seems reasonable.
You can play with quite a few treasures here since potentially you can anyway.
Yeah, Freaky using his workshop to gain silver. I expect the key to be taken here.
Yeah, he can take key. Anytime you don't have the Haunted Woods attack, you can take a copper because you'll be able to trash it with Monastery. That's assuming you don't have the key, but if you don't have the key and you're not under Haunted Woods attack, then you can safely take as many coppers as you want. And he
So
must have
yeah,
chosen to take it just because he wanted 8 specifically.
yeah. Also, yeah, because I think it does favor him to start the key mini game because he's fully trash and RTT isn't. So RTT like wants to. Oh wait, RTT has the key, doesn't
Yeah. Yeah,
he? Oh,
Freaky chose not to take the key there, basically just to hit $8.
yeah, interesting. Because one of those buys was a silver, which didn't seem super high impact to me, but he's probably got a plan for that silver next turn.
Yeah, we'll have to see if he draws it, because he's not got a lot of green in this opening hand. I guess he just doesn't have enough stop cards that it matters.
He'll get through, but he won't be able to gain and play with the workshop unless he gets lucky. He was probably hoping that he didn't draw that shepherd. Probably wanted to top deck it. I guess it doesn't matter with Haunted Woods, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so he's going for reliability. So he did take the key this time. Treasure, probably market, maybe.
If he's gonna, he might be if he wants to go Royal Blacksmith, he might consider Wandering Minstrel or Festival, I guess. Did he have? I might have considered. I don't know how. Did he have a loose buy that he could have spent to $0 on Blacksmith? I might have considered that.
No, he did. He only had the 2 buys.
Oh, okay.
RTT going to resign there. Pretty far behind. I didn't see exactly what he drew there, but presumably nothing good.
So that was our first game to Freaky.
Yep.
And he was first player, so it's not the. He had first player, strong opening, so it's not the.
Yep, the better split.
Yeah. Not a bad loss for RTT mentally, I wouldn't think.
Right.
Depending on what causes you to tilt, I suppose.
So we've got Silk Merchant here. That looks like the only plus actions, plus innovation.
Right. The action gaining is not super flexible since it's just Necromancer and Forge. So not well, and Wish, I guess.
Yeah, forging like into Silk Merchant is pretty good with innovation. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's tricky. They're going fast. So Silver Silk Merchant opening, not a whole lot else to do. Looks like they're probably trying to get to Forge.
Yeah, which RTT has hit here, so I would expect him to take it.
Yeah, the only alternative I see is like if you want to set up an innovation like turn next time around.
Yeah.
You have 3 or 4. No, you have. Yeah, you have 3 or 4 coins, right?
Yeah, the silver's there.
Depending on whether you use the coffers. So you could innovate like a Silk Merchant on turn 4.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you use the coffers here, you only have 3 coins on turn 4, which isn't too exciting.
Yeah, but is that great to innovate the Silk Merchant on the next turn? I mean, what does that...
Yeah, he goes for the Forge. I like it in the Forge and the Shuffle. Just turn 4 is a little underwhelming.
This is pretty nice to pair your Forge with your Silk Merchant here. Get one more card target.
So Freaky had a slightly better shuffle, I guess, because he got to get Silk Merchant on turn 3 and then still managed to get the Forge on turn 4.
Yeah. If Freaky finds his Forge here, it'll be very, very good for him. This is kind of rough for RTT. I mean, it's still okay. I would trash all of these.
Not finding any estates is pretty sad. Well, finding one estate is also pretty sad.
Yeah. 5 was not
It's
super
looking
good.
real good. If Freaky can find, like, if he plays a Silk Merchant and finds another estate, it's looking
This
real
seems
good. But
to me an easy play, the Silk Merchant, but
yeah,
he
the like sixes aren't very exciting.
no, but gold is still nice here.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you can trash three estates for it,
Yeah. That was a pretty easy Silk Merchant for this will be forge or into a Silk Merchant for oh no he goes to the Necro. Okay, that's also fine.
yeah. So Freaky's got innovation now. See what he does with it. You can definitely like forge. Like he could play a. No, he can't play a Silk Merchant. He has to actually start with the forge
Yeah.
to turn it into a Silk Merchant.
Mm-hmm. Or I mean he doesn't have to turn into he could turn it into Necro still would be fine. He'll still get the village.
That's
If
true.
he if he wants two
play
of
it
them
as
though,
spy.
yeah. If he wants two of them, then he needs to. Um, turn it
See what he
into
does with the Necromancer.
This is probably double 4. He'll probably use this. Just like the Forge Silk Merchant interaction is so nice. You just want all of them because then you just buy them, get the bonuses, then you trash them and get the bonuses again. So you just want to hit the Silk Merchants very hard.
Yeah, I think RTT kind of caught up, but it's a bad position in terms of the Silk Merchant pile, where presumably Freaky can empty the pile.
Get the rest of these. Yeah. He can do it if he wants to. It's just basically his choice.
It's interesting, actually, whether you want to trash all the coppers here or how many you trash, because he's definitely like got the overdraw. I wonder if there will be. So keeping a silver around to be able to forge it into a leprechaun, I think could be valuable. Interesting. Freaky's.
He's ready to green now. That's interesting.
Oh, that was a pretty clever way to set up leprechaun with the innovation.
Yep. I'm not
like
sure.
Using the treasures.
I'm not sure I like the play though, to be honest. For that
I
turn.
think there's quite a lot of green you can go for. Like in particular, leprechaun can gain harems, which I mean, harems usually not an amazing card, but like just being able to gain a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
And then there's farmland.
Yeah. I mean, presumably Freaky will mill provinces a lot if he's going for this fast greening. So.
And also, you need to be a little careful when you build because of Wolf Den. Like right now, each player has one Forge, one Necromancer. Freaky now has like one Leprechaun.
Yeah. So. Yeah, as Steph keeps mentioning, one really hard thing is RTT not having innovation is making him miss some nice interactions, potentially.
RTT does have a lot of villagers and coffers. And so he hit his forge with Zombie Mason, turning it into province. I think that's pretty good. That's like you don't want that forge anymore if you're not getting innovation.
Yeah, the only scary thing is giving your opponent access to 2 forges. And you only have one then. But yeah, it is nice for Wolfden. I wondered if... Yeah, this is okay for Freaky. I mean, he could...
Okay, so Freaky picked up his second Necromancer, and he zombie apprenticed the Leprechaun, so hoping that he can use his second Necromancer to play the Leprechaun.
I don't know if he can get to it.
No, I don't think he has that many actions.
He now has a lot of necromancers.
That might have been just a one-time thing that... Oh, he gained another necromancer. Yeah, I don't know if he has 7 actions.
That necro does not look... Well, I don't know what he's going to play it as yet, but it looks worse to me than a Silk Merchant. The Wish one specifically, I guess. This is going to be hard for RTT, though, because you don't...
there's a necromancer in the trash. When did that get there?
I don't know.
Okay, Freaky on turn 8 trashed a necromancer and a Silk Merchant to get a province. So he doesn't have 3 necromancers. He just has 2.
Okay.
Okay, so Freaky, after going fast for provinces, now kind of takes a detour to get the last 2 Silk Merchants.
Mm-hmm.
RTT.
I mean, Freaky basically is banking on doing triple, I would think, this turn if he can do it. It doesn't have to be true triple, but...
I mean, he doesn't have to worry about RTT getting a triple, so it's not like he's not all in at this point.
No, but getting less than 3 is also terrifying. Just because if he doesn't get 3, RTT will score a lot. Or
yeah, but if Freaky can reduce
if he only gets
Den,
yeah, that's true. There's some play with Wolfden that I haven't tracked well enough to say, but
as he can apprentice his forge is an option here that'll get him 3 points from Wolfden.
One province gain for Freaky though is so bad. And 2 isn't notably, but isn't really much better, or even really any better. So it's really hard. It seems like to me, unless you get 3.
I mean, I think getting 0 is kind of reasonable.
But then RTT gets maybe 2 true and at least 1 plus a mill.
I mean, how does RTT get 2 true? He doesn't have a forge anymore. He does have the 6 coffers.
Well,
but
how many necromancers does he have? That's the question, I guess. If he just has this one,
just has 1.
He could. I mean, the necromancer can be a forge, so depending on what the Silk Merchant draws, I don't know the deck contents well enough to say if it's really feasible. But
yeah, I forgot about the forge being in the trash. Yeah.
1 mill and 1 buy is just, in hand, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And that does put Freaky in a tough spot. Because it's not like you can just buy a duchy for 3 points.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Oh, he's trying for... Oh, he had it. He found the triple.
Oh, wow.
Very nice.
With the innovation.
Innovation. That's really nice.
I did not see that line. Very
nice. That
was
was super good. He earned it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I did not actually see an out for him unless he tripled, but that was... I mean, there was going to be some more draws, but it was really, really good.
Interesting. They both ended up with just 1 Silk Merchant.
Mm-hmm.
Despite all of them being bought. So yeah, Freaky up 2-0. Groundskeeper.
We
No
got
draw.
Sacrifice Fortress.
Okay, yeah. Sacrifice Fortresses draw.
And probably good enough here, right?
Yeah, I mean, you have to go for it.
Yeah, you can't not do it.
You can thin plenty.
Yeah.
And the game can be pushed real long with Groundskeeper.
Yeah. So there's a lot of nice fortress things here.
Groundskeeper and Sacrifice also have a pretty nice synergy where like you can just get you can get estates and sacrifice them.
Mm-hmm.
Keep the deck in a like nice steady state.
Mm-hmm.
So you hardly need any economy at all to
I mean, you just need
get a lot of points.
You just need some foragers to buy stuff as you go along. Well, I mean, foragers in this case thin and remain a source of economy because of the fortress.
Yep. So both players opening Forager, Sacrifice. Sacrifice is going to be the only terminal possibly the whole game. We'll see if anybody picks up a Bandit. But certainly for a long time.
Yeah, I don't know about the Bandit. Maybe though. I'm trying to think. I mean, you need some money to afford the groundskeepers, but I wouldn't entirely hate a trading post, but
At this point, after Forager Sacrifice opening?
I don't know. Probably not. I mean, he
Minor
already has
interaction,
another forager, so
But with Trading Post and Bandit, like that'll make Aqueduct points come into play, but it's pretty minor with Groundskeeper in the Kingdom.
yeah. More
So Freaky
question
picks
of,
up the first fortress.
you don't need 10 fortresses. You just need like 3.
You want a decent number of fortresses just
Yeah.
so you don't end up with a sad.
Yeah.
Depends also how many sacrifices you play with.
Yeah.
I think like probably 2 or 3
yeah.
is fine. You don't need many stop cards, which is interesting.
This board would be nuts if there was a Smithy variant. I mean, then you would be playing with death cards for sure. Like you would just be upping the economy aspect of it way higher. But it's harder to do it with the limited draw.
So RTT sacrificed a Forager on his last turn, so I think he's got 2 Foragers in the deck. Now they each have 2 sacrifices.
It'll be funny if the foragers are just $1 forever. All right,
Well,
so
somebody picked up a silver. I don't know who.
Oh, RTT has the silver.
So Freaky goes for the death cart. See what he does with it.
If he starts on the... I mean, it doesn't feel like he fully got his building done yet to start on the groundskeepers.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, if the players both go in for death cards, then we could see piles get low pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Like ruins, fortresses, and foragers are at 4. Sacrifices will be at, 4.
I guess to people in chat, I meant more like super heavy death card stuff. But yeah, definitely you buy one here. I mean, it's the best source of economy. So Freaky is clean, which means he may get way out ahead now. He's not too clean. He's clean a good amount.
Yeah, I think another death card is pretty good. Goes for a sacrifice. Hmm.
I think that's okay given his position. It's definitely like more of a consistency versus increasing the output of the deck.
Right.
But that seems reasonable to me given his position.
RTT just has one estate and one copper left in terms of starting cards. Now just the one estate, so he's clean. See if he picks up a death card of his own here. Nope, third sacrifice.
I wonder if Freaky will... Well, I guess he's probably not losing the silver yet. I guess your number of sacrifices is maybe the most limiting thing in terms of how big you can build.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else has some kind of substitute. At least in terms of like a split.
Yeah, but if you get a whole bunch of sacrifices and you don't pick up any more fortresses, then at some point you're going to need a sacrifice.
Yeah. You still have to balance the deck composition. Definitely.
But I mean, it's not the end of the world if you sacrifice. Well, you don't want to really sacrifice a forager because they're your plus buy right now.
Okay, he just loses his forager,
Interesting.
which seems weird to me.
Huh. You say he's fine with two buys, or was there a rune market on top and he's playing it? No, I mean, there's no reason to trash the forager, and change it for a rune market. So yeah, I'm a little confused about that play.
Yeah. RTT absolutely has to buy a death cart here. Yeah, we may just see piles before they do much of groundskeepering at all, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess people aren't it depends on if someone intentionally lowers the foragers, probably mainly. Because it looks like the runes will go easy and then sack will go easy, but someone would have to say, oh, I'm gonna... Which Freaky might do here. I don't know. Going down to 2 buys here seems bad. Because he has so much money.
Yeah. I don't know what the upside to trashing that forager was.
I was going to say I would keep the rune market this turn.
But sure would like forager instead of rune market.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, just for this turn, you just have too much money to not...
I wonder what he was thinking about last turn.
I would lose the silver here myself. But this is a horrible draw for RTT, by the way. I don't know.
Yeah, he probably sacrificed a forager. So they're both down to 1 forager and using a rune market to get a 3rd buy.
Yeah.
Although it's less important for RTT.
Yeah, he can't use it. So this would be the turn I would expect Freaky to take a groundskeeper if he was going to do that.
Yeah, sorry. Freaky's got 6 sacrifices.
Because there's not... He may not even do it because there's not a huge... I mean, 1 is reasonable, I guess, but he's pretty close to piling. You don't really have any incentive to lower, though.
Taking an estate here does give you 4 like VP tokens.
Hmm.
But I mean, only 2 of them are a first mover advantage from Aqueduct.
Yeah, I agree with people in chat saying the silver has been around too long, but I mean, I would not be afraid of upping RTT's foragers at least.
He's only got 1.
Yeah. Yeah, I just mean also in the past when he had the other one. But certainly here.
I mean, yeah, and at one point Freaky had 2 foragers and could have definitely trashed silver. Like if he was worried about the second forager being a stop card, he could have just trashed the silver instead and kept the 2 foragers around. Seems better. Like strictly better, right? Because the foragers are giving 2 coins at that point.
I wonder about Groundskeeper, Death Cart, something, his state. I do think the estate is reasonable, or maybe even like the good play to make. But I mean, he's in such a strong position, so there are quite a few different plays he could do.
Yeah, it goes with Groundskeeper Festival Estate. Festival for the extra plus buy. And it's a little less risky than the Death Cart, which would have, had more bad draws.
Yeah.
But he looks like his starting hand is, he's going to draw deck.
The thing with the Death Cart is it's actually pretty hard for Freaky to draw ruins without a sacrifice.
That's true.
So they're not, it's just more cards to get through, but they're not that awful for consistency for his deck anyway.
RTT deciding whether or not he needs that coin from Abandoned Mine. That would bring him up to 14 as opposed to 13. I don't think Freaky is threatening a pile out, right? He only has 4 buys.
Yeah.
So as RTT, you could just take 2 Groundskeepers. You can't lower Fortresses or Foragers or Rune Market or Ruins, of course.
Well, I guess if you wanted, I mean, there wouldn't be a reason to do this, but he could take the Rune Market. Just the Rune Market.
Yeah, exactly that, yeah. So I think I would trash the Abandoned Mine, just get double Groundskeeper Estate, I guess. It's like, I don't know, it's battlefield points. And you can sacrifice it for another 2 VP.
People in chat are mentioning that he could have gotten triple Groundskeeper if he had played his turn a little different by sacking the silver for cash and then the Forager goes up.
So RTT ends up picking up a Death Cart, emptying the ruins, and then getting a Province to take the VP lead. So with Freaky's 4 buys, he won't be able to end the game with a win.
Yeah. But he's just going to lose the long game.
Right, because RTT still only has 3 buys unless he picked up another Rune Market. Oh, he did.
He did. There was the one on top.
He does have 4 buys, yeah. So he has a potential to empty Foragers, but again, he can't get any points while he does so. Yeah. So as long as Freaky buys anything that generates points, he'll be fine.
Yeah, he's got to do better. No, even Estate is fine because of Battlefield.
Like this can be double Groundskeeper, double Estate for Freaky, along with a number of other things.
There's some people, I don't think there's any reason to take all the Battlefield points. I don't see that.
All of them? No, you definitely don't need to do
People in chat are mentioning it, but
Also, then you open up a 3 pile with estates.
yeah.
Like you probably have the VP lead, but seems riskier than just take more groundskeepers.
I mean, as far as I can tell, no one's talked in Twitch chat. Raven Shard.
Yeah, I mean, it's a better spectating experience in the client.
Yeah, there are some people watching on Twitch, but I haven't
RTT
seen chat comments.
has a dud. He didn't find his sacrifice at all.
Yeah.
So he's just out of luck.
This is...
He can take a duchy to go up in points, so he delays his defeat by one more turn. Well, maybe not even, because Freaky can sacrifice 2 estates to go up in VP. So I think it's actually just over if Freaky draws. Which he doesn't have. He's got the sacrifice in hand, but he doesn't have a fortress.
Mm-hmm.
He'd probably sacrifice the groundskeeper. Yeah. Wait, what did RTT get? A festival. Okay.
So I assume Freaky still has $12, so this is just game.
Yep.
Well, he's got to get to the Forager, but that's guaranteed too, I guess. Trash of silver, do it, Freaky. Man. That's 0 style points. 0 out of 0. All right, so Freaky has now gone up 3 games to 0.
Yeah.
Which is a tough thing to come back from.
Absolutely. RTT raring to go, though.
He's got first player here, so he's got a better shot, at least to continue, get us to game 5.
This board looks a little bit underwhelming in the payload department.
Yeah. Yep. Got the basic village draw, some weak, slower trashing.
The village is just Ironmonger, so it's gotta be careful adding too much treasure, but you need to add treasure for payload.
The thing that would be, I'm trying to see how big you can make your conquest, like how feasible it is to just be angling for that.
So the plus buy is just trade route, right?
Yeah, that's the hard thing, is the plus buy so terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty awful.
But if you fell behind, like, that would be what you would have to start thinking about.
Yeah, moneylender dungeon opening makes sense. Eventually you do want a trade route to get rid of your estates, but there's no rush there.
Trade route's a nice second shuffle kind of trasher.
So Freaky sees this dungeon on turn 3, which is probably better. Unclear.
I guess it's just another Ironmonger. I mean, you're just going to hit those until you maybe have 6 and then buy a... Well, I mean, you could take a vault, I guess, at some point, but... Vault's still fairly underwhelming here, as usual. Oh, yeah. The Ironmonger Nobles interaction, of course, is really, really nice. Since it gives you your village lab, and the smithy is then in your hand. So
yeah, so RTT, Freaky and RTT both pick up a nobles. Mm-hmm. They each only have 1 dungeon, which makes me sad. But yeah. I can't say that
it was that
it would ever have made sense to buy another dungeon.
Yeah,
but.
It's one of those things where it's like sometimes it's important to make sure your durations aren't lopsided, but it's not a thing to like break your deck over or break your turn over.
So RTT hoping very much that he hits an action with his Ironmonger, but if not, he can, at least he has 2 nobles in hand he can play on. No.
He's probably getting through anyway. The deck's just not that big. Because he didn't play the other nobles. So this turn looks pretty much the same, even if he doesn't hit it.
Yeah, so
in fact, it could be a little, well, probably not better because 6 is about as much as you can get. But
yeah, when do you pick up the trade route? Like, is now the time? It feels bad to pass up a nobles for it, but you gotta get that plus buy at some point.
Yeah, I'd be fine with it here. I don't like the conquest.
I don't like the conquest at all. Are we not playing with trade route?
RTT's deck is going to be really weird now.
Why is conquest better than nobles? That just seems game losing.
See if he gets. I mean, but he didn't need money. He doesn't. He was already getting $6, and he already didn't have buy. So there's no economic reason to get conquest.
Yeah, I'm confused about what RTT's game plan is.
I mean, I guess he wasn't like guaranteed hit 6 again as he was playing moneylenders, but Freaky there adds the trade route. Yeah, I'm not saying that's a reason to do it, but I was just trying to see anything. I mean, we don't know what he's going to get because his Ironmongers are variable money, but
okay,
now
RTT
he's got
picks up the trade route. Yeah, maybe RTT's thinking was, he's not guaranteed to hit 6 again. So if he picks up the trade route, like, that doesn't give any coins. No, it does. It gives 1 coin.
It gives 1. Yep.
Yeah. And if you absolutely need to, I don't know. We'll see. RTT's still looking in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, his once he's gone the trade route now, his deck looks fine. So,
yeah, that's a very nice turn. Moneylender has outlived its usefulness.
Beggar nobles. Let's see if someone does it. This is the time to do it if you want to do it.
It's a little greedy, but yeah, that was a duration dungeon though.
Yeah.
If he had played dungeon this turn.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing.
I think better. I don't know what the other play. I don't know what the play is though.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
if you're not going to do that, you can get you can double Ironmonger. You can get like gold.
He's going for it
with like Pearl Diver or something.
Beggar online.
He immediately gets punished for it.
Immediately,
but not by the beggar, though.
No.
You know, by the invisible nobles. That, of course, having like a nobles in hand wouldn't have been. I guess the consistency play was double Ironmonger.
Now this is definitely where having another dungeon would be useful. Maybe RTT will pick one up here. Freaky still has.
He has $3 lemon.
Freaky still has 1 copper. That's the last copper.
We'll see if Freaky is feeling the beggar stuff.
He did play the dungeon this turn, so he could pick up beggar and dungeon, but instead he picks up gold and copper. I would like to see a dungeon here. Yeah. Hey, there are the good cards.
Freaky
So you
may
should
be
have,
a little low on actions. He's not going to get the money lender playing with the trade route. Yeah. What did you want, Steph? Silver, gear, pearl diver?
yeah, silver is reasonable. I mean, didn't have the dungeon in play.
If RTT can get to 10, he'll be in a really good position. I would say if he gets to 10, his buy should be really easy, and he'll be in a nice spot.
Mm-hmm. So Freaky does follow with the beggar. What a time to be playing Dominion.
I mean, you don't want to lose to someone who's bought a beggar, you know. And it seems at least plausible that that could happen here. So you want to have that asymmetry, or the symmetry, I don't know. So no 10. If one of those ironmongers had hit a thing, a copper, I don't know if you... Oh, did he make a misplay? Steph is saying he might have made a misplay.
Yeah, he could have discarded nobles instead of estate. Then he could have used trade route to trash estate, have one more coin.
Huh, that's really weird that he did that.
So RTT picks
Also,
up
you
gear.
just keep an estate in your deck, which is terrible.
I mean, that estate is going to be trashed with trade route, right?
No, but I mean that it didn't happen.
That turn, yeah.
That turn. Yeah.
He could have tried to like discard a nobles to get the value.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you set aside trade route here. No, you need the plus buy. So you set aside moneylender.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to inflate the deck size too much here. This is getting a
Yeah.
little scary in terms of the number of coppers.
Yeah, these decks aren't really making a whole lot of progress. It's turn 13, and neither player has hit like 10 with 2 buys, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, now that particular price point isn't even that nice. Like, even like $8 with 2 buys isn't like that nice.
Yeah, I'm
'Cause
just
there's-
saying, like,
Oh yeah. In
The decks
terms
aren't
of
doing much.
in terms of the amount, yeah, definitely.
so at this point, straight gear money would have had, 4 provinces for whatever that's worth. I mean, you don't ignore nobles on this.
Yeah. I wouldn't. Yeah, I would not be willing to try and empty the provinces against the alt VP here, but
Yeah, you have to get nobles. It's just I don't know if the beggar thing was too fancy or not.
well, I mean, at least RTT could have had different turns in terms of just how he played it, not because of draws necessarily, but just like he actually made some misplays in a couple turns. So
Yeah, I wonder if the eventual plan to like keep control of your deck is to get a second trade route. So then, if all goes well, you can trash all 3 coppers you get from beggar.
yeah,
It'd be hilarious if the game piles on coppers.
coppers.
Nobles and
I
Ironmongers,
don't think
yeah.
they'll get that many I don't know that it'll last 6 turns to do that, but maybe. And I don't know that they would play the beggars every time.
And 1 coin off from Province Ironmonger for Freaky. Goes with a Conquest. Seems reasonable.
Yeah, but he does have a dungeon in play. I was going to say Freaky almost stops immediately, but...
Ooh, there it is.
Now RTT has his turn.
Don't you want to play dungeon? I mean, he can just discard 2 nobles here.
Yeah. There's maybe setup you could have tried to do.
Right.
I'm not sure if there was, but there's at least maybe like a way you can give yourself a 50-50 shot, right? You know, like you could throw nobles and copper in there and then see which one you hit.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think that works.
If you draw the... Yeah, I guess it doesn't.
He would have to play the dungeon earlier if he wanted to do that. But yeah, he's got plenty of nobles not doing anything right now, but that's just because he had good luck with his Ironmongers hitting the nobles, so or one good luck, 1 setup turn. So to chooses not to play beggar seems completely appropriate. Yeah, and RTT does go for the second trade route. So if all goes well, he can stay on top of these coppers. And he's got a good hand to do it. Definitely RTT favored right now.
Because this turn isn't... Well, Freaky got 8, so that's not the worst thing.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I just feel a lot more comfortable having the alternating dungeons the way RTT does. And he's got a gear on top of it this turn to help set up the next turn.
Yeah. His hits this turn were not great, though, so I don't know if he'll get to play all his terminals that he has. Or it seems hard, actually. Because this Ironmonger is just going to hit not action. So he can't...
Oh. What? Okay, so you definitely don't play beggar this turn, right? I don't know, this is awkward.
I'm not sure about those plays. It's hard. I would be playing slower and stopping and kind of thinking these things. So I'm not... It doesn't look like the best thing to me, but I haven't seen all the...
He's top decked a copper, I think.
So he plays a beggar. Is he going to go province gear?
Okay.
The deck's just getting very messy.
It is. I think it's going to be okay for him, though.
Yeah, I mean, this hand is already scary, though.
I mean, he's got the duration dungeon and the dungeon there, so he's got 4 cards to look for stuff.
But
it's true. He needs to find plus action.
It's right. It's still scary if you don't have like
nobles,
2 Ironmongers in hand that you know you're going to get a couple shots at it. You know.
Sometimes I do feel kind of nice though when I have like the dungeon set up here that I can discard cards I don't want at least.
Yeah.
But that's probably an irrational thought.
Yeah, that's like
Freaky's got a good turn.
That's like the masquerade fear or something. Like if you have to pass something good, it means every single card in your deck is good or something. You know, it's.
Yeah, I mean it's certainly nice to have 1 bad card.
Yeah,
You're studying in with masquerade, but
yeah,
it's not the worst thing.
Yeah, it's like the fear of it is bigger than it is than would be right for just how bad it is in terms of the gameplay, I guess.
So Freaky is gonna go ahead and get those coppers. Probably hits a price point. Yep, double province. That's an important price point.
Yeah.
Puts RTT... I mean, I think RTT can feel pretty confident that Freaky's not going to double next turn.
Yeah, he doesn't have to play around that or anything. Or I wouldn't bother playing around it, but he's still in...
I guess it's possible.
Yeah.
He's got the dungeon in there. Anyways, RTT does manage to kick off here.
Yeah, and it's looking quite good so far.
I think you don't want that beggar, but I could be wrong.
I mean, does RTT just settle for province duchy?
You can definitely hit Province Duchy.
I mean, like, would that
And
be
then,
what you aim
yeah,
for?
I think so. And then you can use gear to set aside stuff for next turn.
Yeah.
A little bit awkward here. He's got 3 cards into a gear play, presumably.
So, like, there he did not try to set aside anything nice for the dungeon to potentially make in the shuffle.
Yeah, but he's got the gear saving.
Yeah,
a
I guess it's
nobles.
going to end up the same, but like you're not playing the beggar, I don't think. So you could have tried to get both nobles into the discard. No, never mind. Never mind.
No, I think. I mean,
Oh, he's
yeah,
going to have
I
to.
think he could have left. He could have left a nobles on top of the deck and set aside 2 jump cards, like a beggar and a province.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, RTT trying to play it safe.
This is so scary. Like his deck is just not going to fire off that often, I don't think.
On the other hand, it puts Freaky in a tough spot now. Like,
Yeah, to score the
how many?
points.
Yeah, like what does Freaky do? So
Yeah,
it definitely doesn't look super favored for RTT, but I think he's slightly ahead just because of this position.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Freaky's deck is going to be some super consistent thing either. It's just both of them could easily collapse to where they're just not having like drawing turns, or not
Absolutely.
a lot of drawing.
I think that Freaky's more likely to do that because he just has the single dungeon and the single gear, whereas RTT has 2 of each and has alternated them so far. Which isn't to say that that's a mistake on Freaky's part. I think he had to, like, he was behind at some point and he had to play more aggressively, like with less of the reliability cards, in order to reach the point he did.
So Freaky takes a duchy.
Powering up
Diver.
those trade routes. Now they're the power card.
So RT2 will pick his gear. I mean, it would really be awful if he doesn't find Ironmonger. So he did. That's really fortunate.
Oh, that's really nice.
Didn't find one in this draw, though. That hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a bit, actually. This is nice, but
I think you just get rid of that beggar now with your dungeon, right?
yeah, I guess you got to think about, can he... I mean, Freaky might double with this starting hand.
I mean, I would... Like, you can double as RTT, right? Do you feel comfortable doubling?
Yeah, I guess that's safe.
Because you can definitely do that. Like,
Well, no, because that offers tie, doesn't it?
right.
And you
Province
can't do that.
Oof.
Because that's a win for Freaky of the match.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you keep playing it out as RTT because you do have the more reliable deck.
How much... So the trade rates are 3 now. He's got 12... People were discussing triple, but I don't think he's there. I guess double Province Duchy he might have. I'm not sure. What is he at right now? 16.
He doesn't have enough actions to triple. If he could play all his actions...
Can he double Province Duchy? I guess just what is his max money? Trader on copper is just strictly better than Moneylender now. So.
The max money is not getting a third buy.
No, the trade rate's 3.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
He can do this. He can Province
Yep.
Duchy.
Yeah, that
And
looks
then
good.
this doesn't offer a tie, though this hand is terrifying. Because he didn't gear anything.
No, it looks like he didn't play gear.
Yeah, he didn't gear anything, so
What happened to that gear of his?
he must have tossed it with Dungeon. No, well, it doesn't.
No, he would have had it. No, he
didn't.
he played it. He just didn't set anything aside because he
Okay.
played it mid-turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a scary looking hand, but I mean, you can at least get Dutchy. Yeah, so to win, Freaky would need. He cannot win. He has 2 buys.
Yeah. Which I guess is. It's actually not totally clear whether, like, for these decks, conquests versus duchies of the same points amount are better. Well, just because of the number of stop cards versus treasure versus green with Ironmonger and all these things.
Right. Yeah, Ironmonger makes it not too bad, but Freaky going for the conquest.
Yeah. So RTT sure does not get anything. I mean, duchy, but
you buy a duchy and you're still fine, right? Or no? Now
it's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same threat.
Yeah, but what else do you do?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with you. It's scary given Freaky's starting hand particularly, and also he's got a gear with a good gear
somehow. Yeah, this is wow. This could be a sweep. I think it's likely.
Yeah, I mean,
that is
this really first Ironmonger. This first Ironmonger will matter a lot. This is now he has to stop and count already, right? Because if the silver just gets you there, then you just stop. He can't trash in. He can't trash in nobles, so that's not. He kept it. It must have been like either he thought it was really. Now it's just in hand.
Wow.
All right. Well, they delivered a fast one, that's for sure.
Amazing. Yeah, dominant performance from Freaky this, let both the semifinal match and this final match. So
yeah, this is how his last 3 matches have gone, actually.
Yeah, win, tie.
Yeah. So, good games to Freaky. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it rounds out a very strong year of Dominion.
Yep. And congrats also to RTT for 2nd place. Still beat nearly everyone.
Yep.
So.
All right, thanks.
I think the highlight for me was certainly Freaky's finish in the Spice Merchant Forge.
Absolutely, that was incredibly clever spot.
Really nice
to get the 3 provinces. And like playing around like Wolf Den to make sure you had the points and all that. Very, very great play.
Yep. So thanks everyone for tuning in and watching with us, and make sure you watch the the 3rd place match is still yet to be broadcasted. So if you want to watch more Good Dominion, make sure to check that out.
Ospawn versus Mercury 444F.
Mm-hmm.
Commentary by Marcus and is it Johns?
I believe so. That sounds correct.
Check that out tomorrow.
All right.